In 1997, the call went out inviting young wannabe filmmakers to apply to join a new TV program. They would be flown around the world with a camera, filming mini documentaries about anything that commanded their attention. Thousands applied, only 8 made it through. Scott.
I'm in Manila at the moment.
Claudia.
Well, I'm in Mongolia.
Dan.
Welcome to One Choco Beach.
John.
I'm a black Protestant.
Ben.
Slept in the doorsteps of a shop up there.
Olivia.
I'm in Belize in Central America.
Bentley.
South Gobi isn't exactly the most hospitable place to live.
And Kim.
I'm in the town of Lalibela in the central highlands of Ethiopia.
Who couldn't make it to Bondi. This is their story of survival.
Race Around the World was a lot of things rolled into one. It was a documentary show. It was a travel show. It was a studio-based almost panel show, but most importantly, it was a competition. Australians love competition.
We just thought, a bunch of young people going around the world making shit films, who's going to watch that?
Crazily, it turned out to be extremely popular. It really did hit a nerve.
I'm in Yemen. And because I'm a woman, I can't show you my face.
This is the happiest place on earth. How come I'm so miserable?
Well, I'm in Sikawiti, and this is Elf.
It was a time before selfies and before TikTok and before filming yourself doing everything.
How does a 25-year-old Australian represent himself in such a complicated world?
I don't know if we were the original influencers, but it was definitely a different style of filmmaking that no one had seen like that style on telly before, I don't think. It was pretty fresh.
Okay, we're travelling to the next church on the back of this garbage truck.
We had no idea that it was going to be as insane as it was.
Yeah, I got robbed, I got mugged, shook down, pepper sprayed.
You're bossing me.
Everyone's pushed to their absolute breaking point.
It was mad. Not only could we have died, we could have died and they didn't know about it.
It was a massive ratings hit. Australians loved it. It was one of those weird TV dreams that actually came true.
Hi, I'm Miss Foskia.
I remember the day where I first heard about Race Around the World. I was driving my shitbox car to Fremantle and I hear on Triple J that they're looking for 8 people to make documentaries in 10 countries in 100 days.
The number to call is 1800 021 060.
It completely blew my mind and I was like, I'll never get in, but I have to enter.
I thought, hell, that sounds perfect.
I just thought, I'm doing this. I'm an introvert, but I'm doing it.
I just need to work out how I'm going to unlock this thing and get myself in there.
Hello, I'm Paige Livingston. I'm the series producer for Race Around the World. And this here is our Race Around the World Recruitment Centre. Come in.
We ended up getting 25,000 inquiries and about 1,300 physical applications. It was insane.
Paige Livingston, the producer, asked me to be the presenter of it.
Hi there.
And I said no, initially.
My name's Richard.
I thought it was going to be boring. And she showed me the audition videos.
I'd like to nominate myself as your token, skinny, pale, whiny person. And boy, am I qualified.
In '97, I was working as a copywriter, writing Mazda brochures at an ad agency. But I'd never thought about being on TV before.
So you reckon I should drink my own piss, do you?
Yeah, why not? And it's a very valuable drink, actually.
My audition documentary was this German man living in Shepparton who drank his own urine for medicinal purposes.
Open your mouth, probably enjoy it. It's only in your mind.
Did you drink your own urine or his urine?
No, I drank my own. I'm not a lunatic.
So what did it taste like? Well, it was less salty than I expected it to be, and it's also of a denser consistency than it looks.
When I saw that, I thought, oh, is that where we're going with this series? Okay. And at that point I said yes to doing the show.
We got it down to 16 finalists, and then we brought them all to Sydney to attend a month sort of boot camp at Australian Film Television School.
It was like, here's how to do a sequence, here's how to do a montage, here's ways to do pieces to camera.
Sit. Sit. As a filmmaker, I feel my real strength is direction. Will you sit?
I was actually surprised that I was the only clown.
Sit.
Lots of the other people, most, really respected the craft of documentary making. I just made up out of thin air that I was a documentary maker.
8 would be chosen to go on the race, and 8 would miss out. The news was waiting for them in a cheap envelope at the front desk.
This is so cruel, it's so cruel.
I grabbed my envelope and ran into the toilet and ripped it open.
Thank you.
Oh, we're all grins here, Wayne.
I was so stoked. It was a mix of elation and pure terror.
My only regret was that it wasn't more diverse, because I think it wasn't a true representation of, you know, Australia.
And somehow to get from there to there.
Yes. All right. The next challenge was itineraries and visas and passports.
Got your connection up here from Mongolia to Siberia.
There was no Google. The search engines were Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves.
The fax machine was going crazy at ABC, you know, trying to work out where we'd stay, where we were going, flight bookings.
Nobody likes injections.
I was scared shitless, you know. The stakes were absolutely insurmountable. What had we gotten ourselves into?
Oh, packing the bag, yeah.
Repacking, packing, repacking.
And then it was kind of like, good luck. See you in 100 days.
Olivia. See you, suckers.
To wave them off and just assume they're all going to come back 100 days later, it was a logistical nightmare.
The basic rules were that they had 10 days to go to a different country, find a story, film the story,
Make sure that I have a good husband.
work out a way to put it together, and then get it back to the editors in Sydney.
You had $100 a day to cover everything, like your food, accommodation, if you needed translators or fixers.
So I packed a few of my favourite things and jumped on a bus heading north to the village of Dunche, not far from Tibet.
You could only use 2 30-minute tapes to capture your story.
Hello.
We had to log our footage, do an edit script. These are the pictures, these are the words, put them in a bag with the script and just send it off like some dude in a motorbike could come up and grab the bag and off it go. What could possibly go wrong?
Good evening, I'm Richard Feindler and welcome to week 1 of Race Around the World.
The show was 3 judges, a studio audience. They'd play the films, judge them, give them points.
Quick haircut and then off to Nepal.
I think I might have picked Dan as the favourite at the outset. He had that great mix of a beautiful eye, an ability to win over strangers and make them accomplices in these little short films.
Why aren't you going to school today?
Because my teacher say your bag very dirty, don't come class.
But it was Olivia that came up with the video that told Australia that this was not going to be cheerful kids reporting on nice things.
Some go to Hollywood seeking fame on the silver screen. Others come to the San Fernando Valley.
She visited a porn set in Los Angeles and followed this guy who had never done it before and why he did it.
My name is Chris, and I'm out here just to try to get into this industry.
It was his dream. And I said, have you got any work yet? And he said, yeah, tomorrow I've got my first one out in Malibu. And I was like, can I come? And it turned into a tragicomedy.
He tried to get wood and failed. All that was left to finish the film was the ejaculation, the money shot.
It's not a good experience.
You know, I feel like I just let everybody down.
It was like a gift of documentary moments for me and his worst nightmare.
While it will be Chris's photo on the back of the cover of Boob Watch 3, it was the star's husband who provided the final and essential money shot.
Wow. Tony Squires, did you get wood for the money shot?
Mate, I got a whole chest of drawers down there.
I thought it was a great film. I thought
Out of 20?
16.
Olivia took an early lead.
Here's a photograph of my ex-girlfriend.
And then I think John jumped up.
I was wondering if you could put a curse on my ex-girlfriend.
I pursued a story about me going around to these different voodoo doctors in the Ivory Coast and getting them to put a curse on my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, she's so beautiful. She's so pretty. I mean, whose goddamn side is he on anyway? Got some African voodoo priests can be jerks. I'm gonna go get another one.
It was quite controversial, but, you know, really, that was kind of when he found his feet.
Before I went on the show, I hadn't thought about this whole genre of, you know, gonzo journalism where you make yourself the centre of the story.
Wondering if you could put a curse on my ex-girlfriend.
I was just thrown into this thing and just had to work it out.
Okay, I'm at the chicken market at the moment because for the curse that I want to put on my girlfriend, apparently I have to sacrifice an animal.
That story just fell into place. And I feel like everything I've done since has been just some version of that.
Hell hath no fury like John Safran scorned. I'm scared not to give him a good mark.
He's trying to shock us clearly with this too, isn't he?
Yeah, well, I love those intimate autobiographical, approaches. And
I didn't like it. I mean, is dumping John Safran as your boyfriend a crime? Is it? Really?
So kids, if you're watching this, this was the first camera. I don't think it's working, unless I'm...
Lens cap?
Oh, lens cap, good point. That you could hold like this and do the selfie thing with.
Can I just point out to all my fellow Jews that even though, yes, every Lebanese person I met was a total nutcase, every one of you I've ever met has been a total nutcase too.
The technology revolutionised the way in which films can be made. You had good enough quality to put to air technology in the palm of your hand. The battery hasn't been charged, has it?
How did we open that?
What am I doing wrong?
Like a little old friend that's lighting up again going, I'm here to talk to you again.
You would, sit here and say, tell me a story.
Race Around the World, the show that uses digital cameras like these to reach the spots that other shows can't reach.
Several times, some of the racers just got to their planned destination and the stories they planned had fallen through.
In Norway, I wanted to do a story about love, and I was trying to find a lead. It's Saturday morning, I was flying out Sunday afternoon. I rang our producer back in Sydney. I said, Paige, I haven't got a story. She said, just find someone on the street and peel them like an onion.
Today I'm dying because I'm so sad.
Then I came across Annalisa, who was fishing, and she just totally opened up her life to me.
I could find a boy, get married, and have kids, a normal or ordinary life. But why should I?
She was a recovering alcoholic. She'd been sort of disowned by her family when she came out as a lesbian.
You ask if it was lonely? That is lonely. To become an alcoholic, that is lonely. That's loneliness.
It was terribly moving. This mini documentary born out of desperation that led Claudia, who's quite a shy person, to approach a complete stranger and ask her to tell the story, produced this beautiful, terribly moving thing.
Oh, it's beautiful. There's some memorable material in there. 16.
She got a lot of really beautiful, humorous and human moments out of it. I thought it was Lovely. good.
The show went to air while we were still on the road, and we had to phone the office every 10 days. And the production team might say something like, the judges are being they're a bit hard.
Mate, I'm going to have to be the nasty bugger again.
Yeah, out of 20?
10.
Ooh. Ouch. Rebel.
The judging turned what was a very pure, intense experience for each of us into entertainment. And, you know, like nowadays that's a normal thing, but back then it was kind of like, how dare you sully our experience with your trite little comments and your studio makeup and, you know.
David Caesar.
I'm going to be tougher.
Are
I'm
you?
going to give it 12.
12, why's that?
I ended up becoming kind of the tough judge, and I would often be quite blunt about what I thought about the films.
I admire the effort. I just don't think it really holds together.
Okay, out of 20?
I can only give it 14.
14, oh, it's
I
disappointing.
think one of my favourite things I used to say is, I think you could try a lot harder.
That's not good enough.
Boy, and out of 20, what would you say?
I gave it 10.
I got a problem. I'm in Osaka. I've got
As they were beginning to hear from their families and from their friends how they were being seen on national television, the pressure really propelled them harder and faster.
Scott Herford had been in Costa Rica for only a few hours. He was robbed by 2 guys with knives, leaving him shell-shocked and stranded.
I was mugged at knife point, shook down. I had to jump out of a moving car onto dirt road.
I'm in the rear of Costa Rican cab G19. It's my 5th consecutive night driving around San Jose. I think I might be lost.
I was drowning emotionally through loneliness and thinking that my work wasn't any good and I couldn't see it, and I had no feedback from anyone. Isolation is the killer.
I remember going, I've lost perspective. I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even know what's good enough anymore. You know, nervous breakdown territory.
It's midnight. In the land of the midnight sun, there's only one.
There were times where they may not have been in touch for, 8-9 days.
Catching for eye. Guess this, Rex, huh?
It was a health and safety nightmare, absolutely. And you could see that in Paige, the producer, that concerned parent look, just wondering where her lost children were.
People would get sick on the road, food poisoning, somebody would get stuck.
Here I am in sunny Africa, crook as a dog.
I mean, they lost cameras, so we'd have to, FedEx some cameras, missed trains, missed flights.
Ben discovered the hard way that there's only one rule in the Guatemalan Highway Code, and that is there are no rules.
Your whole dream and ambition is to become a filmmaker, and you're willing to take extraordinary risks to get it done, because you're not going to get that chance again.
I've decided to get a motorbike. Hey, with a helmet like this.
Burning around the motorbike in Guatemala through the hills. Came around a corner and there's a bus overtaking a truck.
Headed over to this trench with the bike going straight over the top of my head.
Because one had nearly killed me, I said, what's going on? And that broke open this world of this bus driver rivalry in the mountains of Guatemala.
The Mad Max-inspired drivers of these buses race each other in a competition for passengers and money.
I mean, I think it was a beautifully done piece of work, and I'm giving it 19. 19?
Halfway through, I was thinking, feeling the pressure, and just wanted to have like a bit of a break.
Welcome to Glastonbury.
I realised that Glastonbury Music Festival was on.
This is the quintessential rock festival in the world.
And I thought I'd cover that, and as an experiment, try and do it completely stoned in the mindset of most of the people there. Sort of like start the day, like have a joint, see what happens.
Yeah. My name's Richard Bailey. If there's any jobs going over there, just call me.
I was just so glad I wasn't at Glastonbury. I mean, it looked dreadful.
I must admit, I felt at some stages that I was missing stuff because, I was constantly doing that, trying to read the thing along the bottom.
The judges more or less didn't like it. But all of the stoners out there said, oh, that was great. So there's an audience for everything.
The race is at the 3-quarter mark, and the 8 racers continue their exhilarating but lonely journey.
It was one of those shows where it built over time, and you could see that the love that was happening for it was quite brilliant.
People started recognising me, and people felt like they should come and tell me what their opinions about my opinions were, and start abusing me for what they felt like were my transgressions as a judge.
I can only give him 9.
9?
John was forever being marked down by David Caesar.
I mean, I find his personality grating. I'm sure there are people who actually like him, but I'm not one of them.
I genuinely thought it was kind of funny that David Caesar was attacking me.
I hated it.
You hated it?
I thought it was shithouse camera work. I thought
John was like that guy that would get like 18 or 19 out of 20 or 6 out of 20. And just for the record, I think I gave him the highest score he got on the show.
Growing up Jewish in Melbourne, there was one Jewish miracle.
You're going, oh, okay, what are we going to get this week?
Round 22, St Kilda versus Port Adelaide. Can I use Jewish prayer to determine the outcome?
I thought I'd go and test that thesis, that the power of prayer can kind of influence the outcome of a footy match, and I go around doing all this ritualistic stuff in Jerusalem.
Here's my round 22 footy tips. I'm going to be putting them in the cracks, and I hope God's going to be listening.
There's a kind of fever keeps us on our toes.
There were many classic moments from John, but for me it was probably the streak through the streets of Jerusalem.
I have no fucking idea why I'm doing this. This is quite scary. Okay, just give me a moment. Give me a moment.
The streak is the ultimate, sign to the world that you are so passionate about your team.
This is really silly, and it's quite lowbrow also. It's not like, it's not clever. Fuck it. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Look, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a really fantastic film. I thought it was offensive again, as he always is, which is great, but also very, very funny. 19.
19.
Yeah.
I think the guy's a legend. Absolute legend. I mean,
people thought it was hilarious, but I think we didn't show, which was behind the scenes, when he actually got pulled up by a soldier, which was quite scary.
What? It's a prank. I'm going back now.
Go back now. You understand me? You fucking shitbait. Go back now.
As David Caesar says, you love John or you hate him, and I love him.
John was quirky plus, but Kim Trail was probably the most adventurous and chose really challenging places to go.
I'm in the extreme north of Pakistan, in the northwest frontier province.
She went into Afghanistan, Yemen, places that were, just not seen or heard. Kim was the ballsiest.
I don't know which side to believe, but this is the image that will be etched in my mind forever.
By the end of the race, some of them were injured. Some of them were sick. They were all exhausted. But we got them all home.
Welcome to the big grand final of Race Around the World. How would you describe the whole experience?
Speechless.
Indifferent, boring.
I thought the whole planet was overrated.
Did you feel you knew when you had a good story?
You knew when you had a really bad one.
At the end, it was really between Olivia and Kim, and at the very end, the last show, they were a couple of points between each other, so the last story was really kind of the clincher.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The judges' points have been tabulated, and by a margin of only 4, count them 4 points, the winner of the inaugural 1997 series of Race Around the World is... Thank you. Yeah. Olivia Rousset!
I was embarrassed to win because I didn't think I was better than anyone else, and I didn't think I deserved it any more than anyone else. John was the winner, like we all know that, and I won the brown nose, good girl, know how to make a film vote.
John came last. His story from Brazil was disqualified because he filmed priests without their consent. And that was a violation of ABC editorial policy.
And the winner of the popular vote for this year is John Safran of Victoria. There are no losers here. All the races are winners. And perhaps the biggest winners of all are you, the Australian people. Good night.
After the race, I was broke financially, and so I went back and worked at the pub in Fitzroy.
Everyone was like, yeah, well, that was amazing. What's next?
We were broke and there were no real jobs, and it was like, what do we do now? The funniest was when I was called by Cosmo and asked if I wanted to be one of Australia's 30 most successful women under 30. And I was on the dole and I said, I've got to take my dole diary into Centrelink, can I give you a call back? And they didn't understand the irony and said, sure.
I think it was definitely life-changing for all of them.
Oh, yeah. That thing where you've got older
All
money.
8 are working in the industry. Bentley Dean was nominated for an Oscar for a film called Tana.
It's not your show, and how dare you?
Olivia Rousset worked on Dateline and won a few Walkleys. Now she works at Australian Story.
Oh my goodness.
Claudia Rowe is editing and producing at the ABC. And Dan Marsden has his own production company. Scott Herford also has a production company. Ben Davis, of course, started Bondi Rescue, and he's just had a show called Territory on Netflix. Kim Trail moved overseas and is a journalist.
Gentleman to evil.
John Safran ended up being really the breakout star. He did all of the documentaries on religion, and he's written books.
Whatever the script is, they figured out that me looking like an idiot is sort of better. So
It really springboarded a lot of careers, and I guess that's the thing I'm most proud of.
Yeah, you got to get pretty short.
I think the greatest prize of the whole thing was the friends that we made during it.
We've got that bond because we had the shared experience of going through it separately but together, and can't help but adore them all, you know, and admire them as well.
The other week, I ordered a T-shirt off the internet, and then I really knew something was dodgy. Because look at the name of the dodginess in question. David Caesar.
No.
It is. It's clearly another David Caesar, but I thought, my God, this is so ominous.
No, maybe not.
He's playing the long game.
He played the long game. He wins. He wins.
What if we come down? Because we're probably too high.
People still want to talk to me about it. The whole freshness of it and the oddness of it just really captured people's imagination.
It championed young people. It championed what documentary could be. People started seeing that if these ordinary 8 people can do this, then I can too.
1, 2, 3.
And I think it inspired a whole lot of people to just go and tell stories, see the world and share it.